You have to understand, like even right now, man, sitting up at the table, like, people are actually like listening to what I gotta say. That part of your brain, like, who the fuck cares? You know, that's that part, and then the other part, you're like, holy shit, man. People are doing this. Collide a lot, they do. But it is, and it's surreal sometimes, but it's like, I wouldn't change it. And going through what we, going through, in all these years and the things you go through, again, there's a couple things I would change, of course. Everybody, there's a few things here and there would change, but for the most part, you wouldn't change it, man. It's the best feeling in the world. It is the best.
Oh, yeah.
So, a question for all three of you. You mentioned Black Sabbath and even that idea with that first incarnation with the Devils. What each of you do is not only musical but also visual, and there's always an aesthetic and an imagination, and thinking to House of Crazies, which of course is back. There's been House of Crazies activities, performances, music. But I'm interested to hear from each of you. We can start down on your end and work our way back again about the whole kind of visual and the theatricality and the idea of having this world building, as they call it now.
Yeah.
And aside from it, also enhancing the music.
Mm-hmm.
How did that start for you?
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
Again, like I said, HOK, we kind of got that engine, pushing again. Thank you to, seriously guys, thank, Twisted for that they were, down for us to get that engine rolling again for HOK. Visually, you guys always, you gotta thank Matt Drop. He is the visual engine behind a lot of the things that, you see. He's the visual engine. He is that. He's that visual engine.
He's the fire.
I would say the driver,
Jesus of
he is, he's that engine. And the engine doesn't quite go without wheels. It's like you're trying to drive a car without wheels. So I would say the wheels probably would be Monoxide. He's the one that, and it's not like Monoxide, Monoxide, he ain't really super vocal, he ain't really, sometimes he is, but, Paul's more, but he's that, so he's here, he's those wheels. And me, for House of Crazies, I'm the dude that just throws shit out the window whenever they tell me to. I fire at whatever needs to be fired upon. I'm that guy for HOK. So, and then it's us three together, it's magic. Ninjas. Magic ninjas. There you go. That's good. I see who says magic. There you go. There you go. I like that. It's magic ninjas. So so awesome.
So was that always a part of it for you, that in terms of just sort of the kind of larger, what Astronomicon is, right? All this pop culture and stuff.
Yes.
That was always tied to the music for you as well?
Always. Yeah, always. But you guys gotta think that you gotta think what isn't tied. Everything is some way, somehow tied to music. It might start there from that seed, and then it just blossoms itself in different roles and all that good stuff. So,
And when you think about your favorite movies, your favorite video games, music is such a I can't think about Castlevania without thinking about that dude.
There you go. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mario.
Yep.
And then of course all the way into everything.
So for that part, and then here you are, 20, 30 years later, and Jamie, Paul, George, Mike,
Jamie and Paul,
guys.
Who are those guys?
They put together this Astronomicon. absolutely insane timing, because I swear I was just talking about you. It's crazy. The timing, and I was telling everybody here that, from like where, we started, and it's being like us through.
Oh, we're doing some lore in here.
It's crazy.
We're breaking out the lore.
It's crazy. Yeah. Awesome. But yeah, so yeah. So,
They were asking me earlier, like they didn't want to crash the MNE panel. Obviously, they want you guys, the three of you, to get your flowers and not diminish your shine at all. But I was like, yeah, but guys, everyone knows you're here. So it's kind of weird if there's an MNE panel and you don't show up at some point. So here we are.
I felt like that.
Right.
I felt like that. I was like, wait a minute, they doing what? and then I went from anger to nice. I was like, can we go too? I'm like, hell yeah. Here we are.
All stages of grief in like 10 minutes.
Right, exactly.
So, Jamie Madrox, I'm going to throw you the same question that I gave these gentlemen to kick off, which this is where we're getting into the deep lore. What was the first music you ever fell in love with? And then at what point did you realize, I don't just love this, but I need to create, I want to participate?
First music I fell in love with was, you need this, I'm naturally loud. The first music I ever fell in love with was Kiss. No, but later on, as I come to...
Dude, I know you always say Kiss, but I don't see the influence. I don't see any connection.
And mind you, this is a time when I didn't really understand that it was all about sex. Like, I just thought they were like superheroes, and I didn't understand that every song was about
underage banging.
But just, I had no idea that yeah. It's Peter Criss, man. I can't. What do you want? The group can't speak for Peter Criss. Nevertheless, I'm sure maybe Eric Singer can speak for Eric.
He dresses up like it.
It's fair. Yeah. Nevertheless, but yeah, it's not until I come to meet Brian and Paul where I start finding out about rap music, and they started putting me onto that, so it was kind of like a trade. I would play them
Yes,
Cinderella.
and I was gonna say, for a lot of my experience in rock music, things like that, came from him. So
we did like a barter system. Like they would play me the Fat Boys, and then I'd play them Cinderella.
Right.
And then they'd play me like PDP, and I'd be like, well, this is a band called Wasp.
There's
Please
right.
and we would just trade back and forth like different vibes and stuff like that. So
As a man who grew up loving KRS-One and Black and Lawless, I salute you. I think it's probably one of the
There
friends.
you go.
And I feel like at the end of the day, I got the best of all of it. Because I was brought into all these different worlds of music, and it wasn't until like, I don't know, was it Legion of Boom that we really were trying to be serious about trying to rap and do stuff like that. Like when you make up a group and you don't have music, that's when you made a choice. That's when you made a definitive choice. You were
That's the Blade story. Also.
right? We had hats and a name and a partnership and not a single lyric or music.
Nothing.
That was it. And that was the start.
I can say that there were a lot of rock bands that started that way too. You know, my buddy Andy from Black Veil Brides, he was 15, he had the band name, he had the look, he had song titles, he had album covers, he didn't have a band.
There you go.
Let alone songs.
I love that.
And that, sometimes it just starts right there.
Yeah, man.
Indeed.
Dream
And
it,
stop
build
the
it.
process, you just let it happen.
Yeah.
And we were also talking about, being the days of reel to reel and paying for, studio by the hour and, walking, you were talking, Blaze, about walking out with a cassette tape, you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
A rapper's delight kind of book.
Excuse me, it was the Studio B package.
That's right.
If you got more than 1 hour, you get a discount on all.
And to be fair, the other side of that coin, shout out to Studio B, A, for that hustle, and B, imagine some of the stuff they had to suffer through. People coming in.
Well, what's really cool, and it's like a little secret gem of information that because of that path crossing, we come away with.
He's right, somewhere.
That's what we ended up fucking with him and bringing him.
Yes, Fritz came from there.
Yeah.
Mr. Monoxide,
Right.
I want to ask you that same question because I got that answer from everybody else, which is the first music you fell in love with, and then at what point you realized, I don't just love music, I need to make music.
It was weird for me because I never wanted to make music. You know what I mean?
He really did.
You're not as loud as Jamie, so I want to make sure your mic is on.
Tell me what you want to say, I say it to him. Alright, he said, and he also said, y'all be quiet, I can hear what he's saying, and I'll tell you.
Everybody go to Paul's Pops. I'll answer that down there. I mean, honestly, God, like, it never was, it's just something I got into because my best friends were doing it, and I was the worst at it, so it was always very discouraging for me. I'd be in that goddamn booth for 4 hours, it seemed like. They'd be in there for 2 minutes. Boom, boom. Done. Done. Me, midnight, 1 o'clock. Two like, hey, we only got like another 30 minutes.
We didn't care! We didn't give a fuck! We didn't care! No, they were in and out, we didn't care!
Never like, hey,
We sounded worse than anybody, we didn't care! We were like, fuck it, we just schooled that!
Right, especially-
We were there where we believed.
I did not know, I don't think either one of us knew that House of Crazies was really seriously onto something. Because we were comparing ourselves to already established people. Like, we go to an Esham concert and he has a fucking 800 people there. And we go to an ICP concert and they got 1,000 people there. And then HOK did their first show, we did 800 people. We're like, oh, we fucking blow.
Nobody cares.
Once you go into the history, these dudes have done, man, they've been booed off stage, they've been, all that shit has never happened to us.
No.
Thankfully.
Thankfully.
Like, we never had to, we never had
Fuck y'all. Y'all days is coming.
I saw y'all deep on it, we got the best.
True.
But, it was something.
You know, you didn't. I didn't make the joke about Warped Tour, but I know obviously like Bert from the U's this year doing photo ops, and whenever I talk to anybody from that rock world, they always have the nicest things to say about Twisted. You know,
We're bunch of shit, man.
everybody's always like, they're so nice, and I think part of it is because it's the fear of the unknown, right? When they just saw you before they talked to you and got to know you, they were like, ooh, these dudes are kind of scary or whatever. And that's
Right, we have this false reputation that precedes us. Everybody assumes
Representation.
they know what the fuck we're gonna be like. And that's why it doesn't matter, it can be fucking anything. It could be a magazine interview, talking to somebody on a podcast, and they always end it with like, wow, you guys are really cool. Right now, if I do what the guys are like, you're a really cool guy. I'm like, I guess, I'm just being fucking rabbit, you know what I mean? But I guess that's the thing, like, I guess artists are assholes and full of ego and all this other bullshit. We ain't got time for that. Hide from the police.
And it's the same people that are like, oh, you guys rap about serial killers and stuff that'll be like wearing a Slayer t-shirt when they're saying that.
Right.
It happens.
There's a voice for everybody. Yep.
So I want to talk a little bit about, before you guys were in here, Blaze, you were talking about out promoting a semi-existent group
Mm-hmm.
and handing the flyer, I believe, to Jamie Madrox.
Yeah,
How that-
yeah.
how that- What do you remember about that, Jamie?
I remember, yeah, I do remember that. It was
Sound bites.
sound bites.
It's not
Is that a record store?
15 mile and crash.
Oh, shit.
Sound bites.
All right, so me and ROC were hanging out. Flyers
They were doing homebound, man.
Let me just tell you something first. You ask Jamie something about history, get ready. And one of my favorite parts these.
Alright, so like I was wearing like these cream off-white bottles. And I had like at the time, I had like a tracksuit on, I was really in my tracksuit on. And B was the one with the vehicle, so he was like, we finna fly today. And the next thing you know, we seen him, and his dude, what's your whip?
You're with your own.
There you go. Okay. So he gives us a flyer, and then we end up coming to work with him. Like they ended up coming to the studio, and it just worked. Like if they would have never showed up to the studio, you wouldn't know this motherfucker. I promise you. That's what. Like because he took the initiative. Brian was like, "Come to the studio. We fuck with you. We'll come on, pull up or whatever," and then. He came, and then that's how he's here today. If he would have never took that initiative, you wouldn't know this motherfucker.
That dude is a memorizational genius. That guy, his fucking mind. Anytime we're like, dude, what is the fucking lyrics from this? We go to him.
Yeah.
He remembers every fucking
He
thing.
remembers.
Not just our shit, any song that comes on the radio. Like, you just heard this one time.
What does he say?
Halfway through the chorus, you already know the motherfucker. Like, it's amazing to me. That shit's crazy. And if it wasn't for him, I'd miss a lot of lyrics on stage. Fucking characters. Oh, no, this motherfucker. Jesus Christ. I can't, he should have, you need your own this.
Right.
You are that fucking entertaining of a human being. Like, it ain't got shit to do with music or nothing. He's just one of them dudes that you're around and you're like, this motherfucker is Christ. Amazing.
There's a lot of charisma in a little dude.
And he is the complete embodiment of this, of Astro. Like, G is top to bottom, everything about it. This is his song. And that's what I want. I want you to come here and be the fucking guy, because that's what I think you want.
The most common thing I heard today before coming into the panel room from everyone I ran into was, I would say like 80% of the people I ran into, the first thing they said was, "Have you seen G-Mo yet?" Yeah. That's what you asked me if I've seen G-Mo yet. Oh, I was in the skies, bro.
Last week we worked when you came up and checked, like, you know, like, who the fuck is this?
Motherfucker working.
Check your resume.
Oh my God, he's just a very entertaining person. If you catch him on line, anything, anytime you see him, the fucking guy is just on. And I love that. I love it.
Appreciate you, man.
No problem. Thank you.
G-Mo president.
Hell yeah! And I vote for you. You got
I'm gonna have to listen to your policies. You got that shit up for me. We'll be good.
The best thing about a G-Mo presidential campaign would be the battle tracks. You do the diss tracks against your opposing candidate. Because this man's a battle rap.
And that's how I came up, man. I came up getting put on the spot, man, as a little kid, you know? Like, I was in one of those neighborhoods where it's like, oh, you rap? Spit some. You know what I mean? Like, right here on the street. And I'm like the smallest out of everybody, the youngest out of everybody, just little small dude. They're like, man, y'all talking about this little nigga? But it made it easier to win battles, though. You know, because I was like an elementary school kid, and after school, I'd be at the bus stop getting ready to take the bus, and the high school kids would get off at that bus stop. And like one of my homies from school told his big brother that I rap. So they get off the bus like, oh, this you a little Gerard, you don't want to be rapping, man. Spit something. And I battled this high school kid, right? And because I was so small and so young, it didn't matter what I said. Like, as long as it rhymed, everybody went fucking crazy. So I'm kind of a battle MC, you know what I'm saying? Like the street shit, you know what I mean? Where you had to show up, man. And, yeah.
Let me tell you, nothing scares me more than when they're like, go ahead, bust something. Right. Man, I'll fuck you up. These two can do it. We're mean and everybody's the mean. And I'm just like,
No, my businessman, he did back in the day.